In 1944, a soldier froze to death in his sleeping bag, not because he didn't have gear, not because conditions were impossible, but because he trusted the wrong thing to keep him alive. What the military learned from that night changed cold weather survival forever, and almost nobody knows about it. Here's what they don't tell you about sleeping bags. Modern bags are rated for temperature. You see that little tag, rated to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and you think you're safe. But that rating, it's measured in a lab. Perfect conditions, no wind, no moisture, no real world. Out there, your sleeping bag becomes a trap. See, when you sleep, your body produces moisture, about a pint of water vapor every 8 hours. In a sleeping bag, that moisture has nowhere to go. It gets trapped in the insulation, and wet insulation is basically worthless. The soldiers knew this. They watched it happen. A guy would go to sleep feeling warm, wake up damp, and by the third night, his bag was essentially a fabric coffin. But there was one group that never had this problem, the Finnish. During the Winter War of 1939, Finnish soldiers were fighting in some of the coldest conditions ever recorded in combat. -40 degrees, blizzards that could bury a man in minutes, and they weren't using sleeping bags. They used something the military called a layering system, but it was way more sophisticated than that sounds. Here's how it worked. First, a wool blanket directly against the body, not cotton, wool, because wool insulates even when it's wet. Second, a canvas or oiled cloth outer layer. This wasn't for warmth, it was for vapor management. It let moisture escape while blocking wind and snow. Third, and this is the key, they never sealed themselves in. The system was open at the top, allowing air circulation. Your body heat created a microclimate, but the moisture could get out. The US military studied this, they tested it, and by 1944, they'd adapted it into what they called the M1942 mountain sleeping system. It wasn't a bag, it was a method, and it worked so well that elite units still use variations of it today. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool history lesson, but I'm not storming a mountain in Norway. Fair, but here's the thing. Every year, people die in the backcountry, not from extreme conditions, from moderate cold, 40 degrees, 35 degrees, temperatures where they thought their gear would save them. The coroner's report usually says hypothermia, but the real cause? Moisture management failure. Your $300 down sleeping bag is incredible until it's not, until it gets wet from condensation, or rain seeps into your tent, or you start sweating because you overdressed. The World War II method doesn't have that weakness. You can replicate it today with stuff you probably already own. A wool blanket, a bivy sack or waterproof outer layer, and a foam pad underneath for ground insulation. The military version was heavier, sure, but modern materials make this setup lighter than you think, and more importantly, more reliable. Because here's what they figured out in 1944. Survival isn't about having the best gear. It's about understanding how your body, the environment, and your equipment actually interact. That soldier who froze, he had a sleeping bag rated for the temperature. He just didn't understand that ratings don't account for moisture, exhaustion, or wind chill. The Finnish soldiers understood. They built a system that worked with their bodies, not against them. So, should you throw out your sleeping bag? Not necessarily, but you should understand its limits. And if you're going into real cold or unpredictable conditions, or anywhere moisture might be a factor, maybe it's time to think like a WWII soldier instead of an REI catalog. Because the wilderness doesn't care what your gear is rated for. It only cares what actually works. If this changed how you think about survival gear, hit that subscribe button. Sketch Scare covers the dark, true stories the outdoor industry doesn't want you to know. Drop a comment below. Are you still trusting your sleeping bag, or are you ready to try the WWII method? And like this video if you want more forgotten survival knowledge that could actually save your life. See you in the next one.